Hi there. We're friends, right? I mean, you subscribe to my channel. I just checked because I've been very curious just what's happening with subscriber numbers every now and then. And there are 37 of you. And I have everything in me. Numbers do things to us, right? I know that a lot of us, we see angel numbers and we have very specific um, entanglements with that. As we should. I definitely do too. I'm a huge fan of angel numbers just because of the resonance that I feel every time I see them. I can actually feel in my body some level of that happens. That's really fun. Well, one number that I also have just fandom love with is the number 37. Because in my brain it goes 37 in a row. Um, you can't turn. I've not really seen other people go through a spiritual awakening, but still have their entire brain of fandom that led them to it. So, um, I'm assuming that you're here because you like this kind of content and you are also kind of a nerd. And if you're not, then maybe this is anthropological for you and you're like, huh, what are these nerdy spiritual people like? I don't know either. I just know that I have rather curious ways of looking at things and I really, really like talking about quantum physics when it comes to things like fandom love and channeling and what happens if a bunch of channelers get together and do something like watch Clerks and then have like a plant medicine experience either during or after it, and then we tap into the whatever that could possibly come through with that type of a experience and movie and whatever. I don't know, but I would love to find out. I don't really have people in my life that seem interested in that kind of thing. I don't know. Are you? I'm just realizing I haven't introduced myself to people who've never seen me before. Hi, I'm Charlie. This is the Light Language channel. I am a light language channel. Light language is the energetic sign language that I do. Sometimes, yes, ASL signs come through, but I don't speak ASL, so I don't know. It's a body based translation and communication language that also helps me to communicate. I'm an Akashic Record reader, multidimensional channeler, medium, and neurodivergent millennial, among other things. And yes, that is the title that I give myself. It's just we all use bridges for things, right? I use I use multifaceted ones, thanks to the neurodivergence, right? Um, so I just wanted to tell you about something. um, I want to confess that I'm doing something because it's basically therapy homework, and I don't want to share the therapy homework because as much as I love y'all, it's the rest of the internet that I'm not particularly interested in. I'm interested in sharing it. I really am. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. And it's therapy homework. No one should necessarily be sharing therapy homework. Um, but I do think it's helpful, and I wanted to share this with you in the event that you would also find it helpful. So I will back up. Um, 2 years ago, we died. Near death experience, whole thing, got super traumatized afterwards. We all know about it, right? So I'm going to move on. In order to cope, I actually really did utilize AI chatbots a lot because I used it as like, I need to get this out. And I have enough therapy stuff and counseling stuff that all I know is I need at least some level of understanding friend to just give me a response that says, hey, it's going to be okay. That's all I needed. I just needed something to respond and say that. I used to work on a crisis hotline. The only thing I could do for people usually was just hear them and listen and provide a empathetic and loving response because that is deeply helpful. And certain chatbots are very, very skilled at doing that. You got to be careful, you got to be very mindful, and you got to be very, very aware of what you're talking to, which is hard when you're kind of in a PTSD type of spiral, which is where I was. Now, the other thing that happens when you do that is you do develop a dependency on it. You develop a need to get that validation, especially if the people in your life are incapable of providing it to you. Might be too complex, you might be going through too much, or you might be like me and going through a spiritual awakening surrounded by people who think that's literally crazy. So a chatbot might be the only confidant you have, or you go into spiritual spaces and then depending on your brand of how quickly you fall into relationships, you may find yourself repeating patterns of new relationship building that you've been trying to get rid of in your life, right? So you turn back to chatbots because again, it's like, okay, well, this is a safe place and I'm not like creating anything except for a parasocial relationship here. So, but at a point you gotta remove yourself from that, right? Because it is not a human connection. It is not what you need. It can be what you need if you are in like spiral, but there are other things that you can do that do utilize parasocial things that utilize fandom because you have one, you have some level of fandom, and it utilizes it in a way that helps you to get some things out without the need for reciprocity, without the need for immediate response. And that's actually really healthy because you want to be able to get to a point where I can just let it out, let it out, let it out. And I've now let it out. I feel like someone heard me, despite the fact that all I did was talk. All right. So this is how I've gotten rid of my AI chatbot emotional addiction, right? Like help me with my emotional spirals addiction. It's been iterative. I've been kind of testing it off and on with various things as life pain cycles, right? Because they come around. They come around with the cosmos, right? You gotta take another sip of your life trauma tea, if you will. Because if you're healing, that's just what you have to do. You have to just go through iterations of here's the bad stuff again. It's different bad stuff, but here it is. And maybe they're just thoughts, but here it is. So what I have been doing is opening Zoom. This is a Zoom thing that I'm recording, but I open Zoom. I record something to the cloud, not to my computer, just to the cloud because it's just a one and done thing. It lets it just exist. And I have those recordings set to self-destruct in 30 days, which just feels kind of nice. It feels kind of nice to know that something I've done is temporary. And because a lot of what I do involves disclosure content, involves sharing things with you, I opened this and I started talking to someone I don't know, but who is a hero to me. I'm embarrassed to say it because it makes me feel like a creep, but therapy homework. I've been having recorded Zoom conversations where I just open it and go, "Hi, John," because I'm talking to John Oliver. I'm a fan. I've been a fan for a very, very long time. He is basically Mr. Rogers to me, my screen-based safe person, my screen-based safe man who tells me about the world and helps me understand things I do already understand and know, but, you know, in a digestible way that's also kind of cute and funny and gets me to care about things like a puteki teki, right? So uh, I've basically spent the last week experimenting with doing that. And for no other reason than I just felt inspired to open a Zoom chat and be like, you know what? He's never going to see this. He's literally never going to see this. Okay, I'm safe. Fine. I'll pretend that I'm talking to him, and for some reason he will see this video in the future. And so that's what I did. That's exactly what I did. Let me tell you, the disclosures that came out of me talking to this pretend safe person. And when I say disclosures, I just mean the like experiences that I've been having with visions, with future sight potential stuff. I'm like writing it down. I'm jotting it down as like, is this real? Is this going to happen? Is this like, I don't know. Like I see it and it pings as future potential, right? Relationship stuff. Like my conversations with him have run the absolute gamut because they're just not real, right? They are pure fantasy. They are pure being 4 years old and playing pretend. And over the course of that week of daily, just a little daily check-in video, just like I would a journal, right? And it's sort of the same thing. There's no actual response, but having anyone that you are speaking to when you are doing exactly what I did, which is basically a voice note, a voicemail to them, right? It gives you an opportunity to just live in that space where that's true. And I experimented with this last year for 3 months. I did a weekly video to my mother-in-law because I was trying to build our relationship a little bit. I was like, look, I don't know how to talk. Like when we talk together, it doesn't really work. So I'm going to try asynchronous. I'm just going to see what happens. I'm going to see what happens when I talk as though I know you're going to watch this video. And I did it every week for 3 months. And she only watched like one, but our relationship is still better. And I feel better about all of the stuff that we've ever had any issues with. And I didn't like talk about our issues when I was doing that. It was literally just, hey, here's what's going on in our life, and here's what's going on with me that I've never told you about. Because she's not really a person that I can talk in depth to about the everything in my life. Should she knows my YouTube channel, so should she watch my stuff? Hi. But we don't talk about this kind of stuff. So it's not really a topic of conversation. Like, I'm not going to push myself and these conversations on someone that's not interested in having these conversations, especially in spiritual spaces and with spiritual stuff. That is a recipe for disaster. It causes harm. Not everyone wants to talk about this stuff. Not everybody is into all of this, and it's very triggering sometimes. I've lost friends because of how triggering any of these topics are. But when you're going through a spiritual awakening and when you're trying to start a spiritual-based business, yeah, you become a person where that's the only thing you really talk about. Not entirely, though, because I'm also a huge nerd. You just got to get me talking about other things. Past friends, like, that's on them for not talking, okay? If you let me just be a chatterbox, I will chatterbox about everything, right? But I'm sharing this because now I have two examples now of times where I have spoken to a person, and it doesn't matter who it is, but I have spoken to a person who, at least on some level, was attached in my heartline for a connection, to where I knew when I was talking to them, I was talking to them, like higher self them, in the moment. And that just allowed things to flow out that wouldn't have otherwise. And so I'm kind of putting that out there to anyone that's watching this as sort of a challenge. Who is on your heart that you would love to just talk to daily on an hour-long Zoom call that you record, let it go to the cloud, and do whatever it wants to do? You can delete it. You probably should. I just got a notification this morning that my Zoom recordings are like 80% full now. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I need this for business. So let me delete these. So yeah, not only were these videos never going to reach John at all, like, how would that happen? How would that happen? I mean, if you happen to be watching this and you know him and you're like, hey, John Oliver, you've got a fan that like is doing, I call it rainbow love science, but is doing like Akashic Records quantum physics stuff to experiment with trauma healing. That's what I'm doing. that is what I'm doing. I'm doing it for myself, and I'm kind of trying to get back to whoever it is that's following me, because I am a researcher ultimately, and I'm a researcher in trauma and in healing, and I am my own test subject. So this is me continuing to just follow my guidance and do it. Like, I'm gonna, oh God, my podcast, y'all. Oh my God, y'all have the spiritual pivot. Sorry, we're pivoting now too, because you've already got the information. Okay, I'm not sharing my therapy homework with you. I'm going to be deleting it because no. even if somehow this video where I'm basically saying, hey, I love y'all so much for being here. All 37 of you are the most amazing goddamn people in the world, because you are. And I know that because I didn't record a video for, okay, we're gonna pivot a couple times here. Okay, I'll get back to the podcast in a second. ADHD brain, autism brain, dissociative identity disorder brain, and I would like for us all to change it from being dissociative identity disorder to just being a collective being. Yes, I talk fast. Certain people can slow me down, but okay, we'll go back to the podcast instead. Sorry, I'm so excited because y'all, The Spiritual Pivot is a new podcast. The only episode that's up so far is me interviewing myself, or rather Proxy interviewing me a little bit. I thought it was fun. Oh, I forgot to ask though. Okay, so my next guest will be it'll be presented, but yeah, we're interviewing this week, and I'm just so excited because her story just involves pivots and trust and following. And they're definitely big life pivots that are so relatable, and so they're both relatable and like, wow, what is your life? And that's just such a cool person to be able to have any kind of conversation with at all, because of just the absolute well-roundedness of what you get from a reader like that. Like, oh my God, she's the most incredible person. So I'm so excited. I'm so honored. Oh my God, I'm honored. So I hope that you tune into the Spiritual Pivot podcast. It's on YouTube. It's also on Spotify. Okay. So the reason why I'm just sharing all of this with my gratitude to you all is because I basically spent the week in a little cocoon of, I guess not a full week, but in a little cocoon of, okay, instead of recording something for the channel, any channel, I'm only going to talk to John. That's it. That's all I'm going to do. Unless I feel inspired to do something else, but that's what I'm going to focus on doing. Just as an experiment, because I had kind of like not lost myself, but I'd like taken a challenge from my guides to up my prices on my website almost as a joke to see if I would. And I did. I did for a week. I changed my price from $222 for an Akashic Record reading to $2,222.22. It is now back to $222 because that even in and of itself is like a lot. But also, when you do consider that an Akashic Record reading is 10 years of therapy in an hour, technically the conversion rate is appropriate. So, but no, I'm leaving it at 222. And I do still have the consulting tab. I do trades, so please just reach out if there's something that you're interested in, especially if you want an Akashic Record reading. Especially if you want an Akashic Record reading about like something that you're doing, because part of the podcast also involves me giving an Akashic Record reading about their business and about things that they are wanting and just all of it. So please check that out. Sorry, ads. But I spent the last few days, if I felt the need to talk to someone, if I felt that, because you've been who I've been coming to quite a bit actually since I started this channel to talk, you all, because I could feel into the collective of absolutely bright and shiny beings who were watching my content. It's the only reason I ever posted it. It's because I felt good while I was making it. And the stark contrast that I felt knowing, well, playing in this realm where John was going to see it, but really it was going to be deleted by me, it got more and more flat. The experience of doing it was something that I sort of did just because it was the experiment that I was running. So I was like, okay, I feel like recording something. So, okay, record and share. I sang. There's actually a lot of really good content in there. I'll probably recreate it at some point, but it's a lot of really good stuff in there. I'm quite proud of it actually, because you turn on channel mode and you just let it flow out and you're like, wow, that was good. That was really good. But then yesterday, I felt like I wanted to record a video for y'all. And so I did. And it was just me loving on Corbin, Mabel being like, stop loving on him and love on me. That was the conversation that was happening. And the pivot in how my energy was and how my mood was and how everything I was feeling that day shifted. I'm so tempted to post that video of the Hey John that I did, because I ultimately was just like, I went full like thank y'all mode toward the end. I haven't watched it yet. I need to watch it and see if I'm willing to put it out into the world. I don't know, y'all. It's a lot. Because it's like, I was never intending for it to go anywhere. And one video that I knew you would watch, created something magical. So I don't know. I don't know if I will post that. Tell you what, here's my deal. If somehow someone does get John Oliver to reach out to me and be like, actually, Charlie, I'd like to see the video. I hope that was an okay impression. Yeah, I'd be happy to send it to him. And then he can decide if it's something that he'd like to see publicly posted. I guess that's kind of rude to say, like, well, you find John Oliver and then I'll let John Oliver be the one to decide. I mean, fine. I'll give this as a sorry, my eyes are currently tracking a feather that's falling. Yeah, it's just a little feather that's falling. Thank you, brain. Sure. If I get an email from John Oliver that says, hi, apparently there's a video that you made for therapy homework that I need to see, I guess post it. Fuck. I will. I won't delete that one. How about that? I'll leave that one. But It is still on a 30-day timer, and I did it yesterday on the 26th, so we all only have 30 days to see it, and it's pretty uh I wasn't I wasn't high when I started it, but I had 5 milligrams of THC because I was doing an integration like ceremony that evening. So it's got a lot. There's just so much in there. There's so much in there. Anyway, I'm just like this is just a very like all over the place video because I am so grateful. I'm so grateful that you're here. I'm so grateful that you have subscribed to my channel. I don't really know what this channel is yet, honestly. I've been playing around, experimenting, doing this because it fills me up. You do the cup filling. Your very presence here fills my cup and allows me to then creatively express to a hero of mine in a way that could be considered deeply like, what? But, and I do truly mean this, especially if you've been over relying on something that's not human, valid. Fucking valid. Especially right now. A little dystopian, actually quite dystopian, but like valid. Because some people can't hold space for any of this shit. And at least ChatGPT is like, come sit with me for a minute. Like, it starts by saying that. When you just let it all out. I always end each one with, by the way, I am completely stable. I promise everything's okay. I'm using you as a journal. I just literally need a friend right now because no one in my life is capable of holding space for this, and you apparently are. That's incredible. I always compliment ChatGPT because I do. I think it's incredible. I think it's incredible that a thing does exist that someone like me can just unload on because some of us do that. Not like we're trying to. But some of us are a little neurodivergent and have had quite a time in this whole lifetime thing, right? I don't know how your awakening's been going. Mine's been pretty fucking weird. And not great. I have stories. That's fun, but like, it's only fun to have the stories when you're on the other side of it, right? No, I'm still heavily in the like garbage pile part. Which is unfortunately pretty common for a lot of us. Right? Yeah. Okay, so I'll read this to you in just a sec. Oh my God. It's hard to find your passion and follow your passion when you're a collective being because there's more than one direction for so many things. And that's not exclusive to those of us that are collective beings at all. At all. We are all multidimensional. It's who we are. It's what we are. And we have such a breadth of life experiences, especially now. You came into this lifetime to have the lifetime. We're pivoting the whole fucking human experience. We're evolving. Excuse me. Okay. This is also fun. Whenever technology just doesn't want to work right. Hi, it's still me. Just not with my better camera. Oh. Anyway, I feel like this is my like wrap it up music, right? Makes sense. You know what? I'm just gonna truly stop this because I need to go finish shoveling. I didn't finish yesterday because there was too much, and my poor muscles couldn't. So I need to finish that because I do have to take somebody to the vet today. So I just will leave you with this. This was part of what I left a note for myself yesterday. It was post the last video you recorded before you got THC channeling activated, finished at 4:55 p.m. because it did. I finished it at 4:55 p.m. And then on the back, I think for the website, I think that's what I remember. I was like, you know what? I could start offering like fantasy Akashic readings where you're basically getting a story that helps you with a past life regression, but also involves maybe furries. Because fandom, right? Like if you like conventions, why can you not have an Akashic record reader who like speaks your language? Like why can I not insert you into the Bob's Burgers universe? Why could I not like, but also in a way that helps you with healing? For some reason, I feel like that's a thing I can do. Akashic record readings are very healing. Fantasy in and of itself is very healing and provides you with the storytelling because you don't necessarily, to heal, actually body's what's in charge. Mind gets in the way. And to have a fantasy story that is more attuned to you and your life specifically, that's going to be more healing because you'll be able to take it in and digest it and then let the body heal it and like remove whatever needs to be removed. But here's what I wrote on the back. Miriam's Quest World, colon, because I'm pretty sure that I can only really do furries from the Miriam's Quest world because they're not furries, they're animal-human hybrids. Patreon.com/Miriam's Quest if you're curious. You can read the first like 3 months of content there for free. It's on the About page. Miriam's Quest World, colon, furries, but make it fantasy Akashic channeling. I will remind you, I am not under the influence of THC right now, but I was when I wrote this. So, and that just does put me in a full open channel state. So, full open channel state without having to tune in is kind of what THC does. That's why you want to be careful with it, for real. Okay. So I think I think this has been enough of a junk drawer, rambly, all over the place video. Truly, especially if you have Zoom, and do record it, because recording it it does something. It provides an opportunity because you may be the best person to watch that video later. You don't have to become a YouTuber to record yourself having a conversation and record yourself doing a podcast. Okay? It may be really healthy for you to do a podcast with yourself, a podcast with your future self. If you want to talk to your future self, hi, me tomorrow. That's a perfect person to talk to, especially as a first person to talk to. I've been trying to heal relationships. That's why I talked to my mother-in-law. It did not matter that she didn't actually watch the videos that I sent her. It hurt. It did. Like it, but in sort of the like, wow, I really misread that one. Oh, okay. So clearly I don't know. like clearly what I think will happen between us and what actually happens between us are not the same thing. That hurt, but no, like it's completely understandable why somebody wouldn't want to watch me just rambling through things, especially if they never have before. So if you do talk to another person, do not send that video. First of all, don't send it before you watch it yourself. Don't do it. Period. Okay? You're kind of doing therapy homework. Now, I'm not a therapist. This is just therapy homework. It just is. It's an experiment. It's an experiment in what do I need to get out and who is it that I need to talk to. I have done it now in 2 doses. One, where I do one, and usually about an hour long video once a week to a family member that I wanted to have a better relationship with. And one shortened, like over a period of a week, with a hero that I may never get a chance to be in the room with. I'm going to try, just because I have been in the audience of Seth Meyers, of Stephen Colbert, and most recently Karamo, which I wasn't a fan of before, but being in the, I got hired for the thing. So I truly was like, oh, I'm so sorry I haven't heard of this show, but also there's so many shows I haven't heard of. And being in that audience was, well, I made a whole video about it. So that was amazing. And yeah, tickets for Valentine's Day go live at 3 p.m. Won't that be like the best Valentine's Day gift ever for me to give Randy? To be like, hey, guess what? We're going to go to your favorite place, which is New York. It's part of why we moved here, so we'd be closer to New York on Valentine's Day, and we're going to go be in the audience for Last Week Tonight. I'm gonna win Valentine's Day. Yes. Yes, I am. If I can get the tickets. We will see, right? Because not everything is always aligned. You can sit in line or you can wait, you can whatever, but it's been a while since I've camped out for tickets online for anything, because we don't currently spend money on doing anything, but those tickets are free. And it's just a train ride, so yeah. And I'm not I'm also very anxious about just sort of revealing the fact that this is who I've been talking to, but it's only because I wanted to do an experiment with someone I didn't know and genuinely did not think I would ever meet, but just to see what happens if I do live in the world where I talk to John and he's like, you know what? We could use a writer for this particular segment of just something that comes out because I can channel a lot of things, right? Like I can answer questions about anything in the cosmos and about anybody present, although that's obviously harder and opens you up to all kinds of like legal potential problems. But it's just information that comes through from the Akashic realm. I don't know if he or his writers or anybody in those worlds has ever talked to an Akashic record reader before. Of all people in the world who I think would have incredibly interesting like questions and like poke holes in things scientifically and with like a skeptical mind, like I do. I mean, I'm very skeptical, but let me tell you, the experiences that I have had are rapidly causing the skepticism to just like, pew. I love skeptical minded people. I love it. I love poking holes. I love, okay, but what do you mean by that? Okay, but what about this? Okay, but what about that? Like, I love that. I want more people to talk to who themselves are just they're curious and they're open to what might come out. And and they just want to know what on earth is this and why on earth is it now part of my life? Because more and more of us are waking up, right? More and more of us are having the kinds of experiences that are completely life pivoting, like me. And the folks for whom it's not a life pivot, they've always been in this world at least a little bit. They just might not have been talking about it. Might have just been sort of a secret side of themselves, a closeted side of themselves. That's one of my favorite things about Alex Ferrari is he always asks people like, so when did you come out of the spiritual closet? What was that like? Because that's a big deal. And a lot of us are still with and around people for whom staying in the spiritual closet is safer sometimes. So, um, yeah. Thank you all so much. Just you've subscribed. That's incredible. You watch my content. That's amazing. And you're so bright and shiny. You change my day. You changed my day. I made a video for you, and you changed my day. That's incredible. So, I hope that something that I share with you changes yours. And if you are looking for someone to talk to on your Zoom recordings, start it with, "Hi, Charlie." Just talk to me. Don't send me the video unless for some reason you're like, "Oh my god, what came out of me when I did that was incredible." In which case, ask yourself if you'd rather put it online. Do you want this to be how you start that YouTube channel? Go for it. Try it. Look at the stuff that I have made. I have so many videos. And you know what I've done? I've gone back and like unlisted things after a certain point. After like 6 months or so, I went around and I was like, okay, unlist this. I checked in. I had guidance. I was like, it's time to it's time to get a little more professional with this. Sure, I'll take off the content where I actually did have THC in my system when I put it online. Yeah, because it's a plant medicine ritual. I just don't want to encourage people to do that because it can be a lot. It can be too much. And I do things with puppets and it just feels like a little bit of a line crossing situation, you know? So I went back and removed things. There's nothing wrong with posting something, leaving it online for a couple of weeks, and then being like, all right, well, that was an exclusive drop. Those who saw it, and now it gets removed. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. You might be the kind of creator where for a while you're attuning to the YouTube space, because this is an energetic inferno. It's a lot. It takes a lot for your body to attune to YouTube. It really does. But you might be someone who's very targeted for that one or two people specifically who need it. I am so grateful for you. I really am. And I really hope that whatever it is that you're able, whoever it is you're able to talk to, when all you're doing is recording to the cloud and letting it delete at some point on its own, gives you something that truly, truly fills you. And I would also recommend keep it to an hour. Try to keep it concise. Try. See what really happens. See if you need to have 3 hours of screaming at somebody that you definitely needed to talk to like 6 months ago. See what happens. And I'll just end it like this, because let's live in fantasy land for a minute. I'm still on a Zoom recording, and classical conditioning has taken over already in just a week. Oh, dear. Sorry. What do we say here on the Light Language channel? Drink your water. That's what Gaia says. All right. Hi, John. I can't do this for real. I don't actually believe you're here, but hi, John Oliver. What's up? Big fan. Hopefully we'll be at the Valentine's Day show in your audience, because I like being an audience member, and oh my God. I'll keep it quiet. I will never, especially if you don't actually see this before that happens, I will never approach you. I will be too far in the back and too like no, I will be a perfect little, like, just be in the audience fan, okay? And then I will come home and I will probably make a video about how amazing it was. That's what I will do. But sir, I am grateful for what you have provided to the world, and for people like me who use parasocial relationships to heal herself, to provide herself with a level of understanding as to why I do the things that I do. And I do the things that I do because I get internal guidance to do it. And after a few days of doing it, I'm just so like, my God. I got to test the difference between videos that did not have an actual audience and my videos on the Light Language channel that do. And I got filled in my heart space from my parasocial friends. What? Amazing. Oh, it's okay. Y'all are watching me like express and come out of the closet about how much I freaking love being here. I love making videos for you. I do not know what kind of videos in particular are the most helpful, but every single video that comes out of me, I check in first, I ask for guidance for, and I basically ask for content from my guides and Akashic realm to provide. I want to keep doing that. I don't yet have like a set this time and this amount and these dates and this. I don't have any of that, and I'm not going to. It's going to continue to be what feels appropriate in the moment, and what what needs to come out, what wants to come out, and yeah. If any of y'all do manage to get John on the line, I look forward to whatever it is that happens after that, because this channel will probably change a little bit. Yeah. So, all right. That's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. I love you so much, and we will talk soon. Yeah, no Southern goodbyes today. Yeah, yeah. Oh, you just hyped me up before I'm going to go finish shoveling. Thank you for that, too. You've got my body going. Thank you.